Chapter 5: Encounters at the Wayside. A break in the clouds allowed a soft shaft of sunlight to illuminate a cluster of trees ahead. It looked like an orchard. Rows of apple trees with spring blossoms clinging to their branches. The fly, weary from his journey through the murky edges of conflict, felt an urge to rest. As he neared, the sweet scent of blossoms and damp wood drifted up to greet him. He glided into the orchard, drawn by the allure of something peaceful and unscathed. The war-torn roads, trenches, and marching columns seemed momentarily distant. Here, white petals fluttered to the ground like gentle snow, gathering in soft piles around the trunks. The fly alighted on a fragrant blossom, its subtle sweetness enveloping him in calm. He rested, letting the tension of the previous hours drain away. For the first time since morning, he felt a sense of serenity. The orchard seemed shielded from the outside world, as if conflict had bypassed this patch of nature. He indulged in the nectar of the blossom, a quiet gratitude filling him. This place was a respite, a momentary sanctuary. Yet even here, echoes of the greater events intruded. Below, through the orchard's neat rows, he spotted figures in uniform. They were setting up a small encampment, pitching canvas tents, unloading crates of supplies, and whispering among themselves in hushed, urgent tones. The orchard served as a temporary haven for them as well. Curious, the fly drifted down to a low branch where he could observe. Several men stood in a circle, their voices almost lost to the gentle rustle of leaves. He picked up fragments of discussion, something about a city to the east, Grand Boulevard, and a towering architectural masterpiece that was the pride of their homeland. None of it formed a complete picture for the fly, but the tone was reverent, almost awed. One soldier gestured with a half-eaten ration, referencing a speech that would soon be delivered. The others exchanged glances laden with apprehension. Whoever was speaking in that city, it carried huge importance. Enough to drive these men forward despite exhaustion and fear. The fly's curiosity picked. Could this be the place where I might find meaning? He wondered. Just then, a distant rumble reminded him of the war that loomed beyond the orchard. A plane's droning hum cut across the sky, making one soldier glance up nervously. Another soldier whispered about hoarders from above and the significance of the upcoming gathering. It seemed everything hinged on that event. From his branch, the fly noticed how these men fidgeted with their collars, wiped sweat from their brows, and spoke in subdued voices. Even though they were armed and disciplined, a certain unease clung to them. War was seldom easy, but this felt heavier, as though they carried a burden greater than just survival. Minutes passed, and the encampment settled. Some men took to cleaning their rifles, while others ate from tin cans around a makeshift fire. Smoke curled into the orchard's canopy, blending with the sweet scent of blossoms. A subtle tension lingered. They were resting, but only briefly. Soon they would push on. The fly found himself recalling the elder's gentle counsel. Choose how you spend each instant. Time marched on, and he had already passed midday. An urgency fluttered in his tiny chest. If there was something to witness in that city, he needed to go soon. But he also recognized the preciousness of this serene moment. He listened to the orchard's soft hum, bees buzzing, leaves rustling. Even the soldiers' muted conversations felt strangely intimate, like a window into a larger story. The orchard stood as a reminder that pockets of beauty still existed in a world overshadowed by conflict. Eventually, the soldier who had spoken of the city rose to his feet, extinguishing the small fire with a boot. He shouldered his pack, and the others followed suit, gathering gear and preparing to move on. The orchard had served its purpose. Now they would march again. The fly, too, felt the call of the road. As the men formed a column, the fly drifted toward the edge of the orchard. He perched on a high branch one last time, taking in the sight of the white blossoms, the tidy rows of trees, and the tranquil hush that enveloped them. He committed it to memory. In his one-day life, these fleeting moments were treasures. A final gust of wind carried the orchard's perfume away, and with it, the fly soared upward, back toward the dusty road that led east. If a grand speech awaited in a city of imposing buildings and broad avenues, perhaps where he would glean his ultimate insight. Hadn't the elder hinted that some truths remain hidden unless one dares to seek them? The encampment below gradually dismantled, the men shuffling onward, their rifles slung over their shoulders. The orchard was left behind, a pristine testament to a world that could be, if conflict ever ceased. The fly watched them go, then turned his gaze to the sun, which had begun its descent. Time is running shorter still. He recalled the orchard's calm as a contrasting note in his journey. The small joys might be overshadowed by the thunder of war, yet they persisted. For a moment, he felt a pang of longing. Could he just remain there, sipping nectar until the end? But the thought was fleeting. The sense of purpose beckoned him forward, reminding him of an unfulfilled quest. Spreading his wings, he caught a favorable breeze and ascended, heading in the direction the soldiers marched. The orchard soon disappeared behind him, replaced by miles of rolling plains and distant villages. The wind carried new scents, cooking fires, manure, perhaps chimney smoke from cottages. Civilization was near, and beyond it lay the city whose name he did not know. In that gap between orchard and city, the fly felt the weight of possibilities. On one side, the memory of blossoms and quiet reflection. On the other, the unknown promise of significance, even if it meant venturing deeper into danger. He chose to press on, as if guided by a thread of destiny he could only faintly sense. A final reflection drifted through his mind. If there is meaning, maybe it lies in the very act of searching. And with that thought, he left the orchard behind, forging ahead through the waning hours of his single, extraordinary day.
Please do me a huge favor and like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it.